Live. Three. There you go.
It's the Really Charlie Podcast. Yeah, it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Yo, it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Bumping through your broadcast. Grab a chair, fill your glass. Yeah, it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Yo, it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Yeah, it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Bumping through your broadcast. Grab a chair, fill your glass.
Hey, welcome to WNB One Radio, and this is the Really Charlie Podcast. And today's guest is Dianne Langford James, an author of a very great book, Breaking Cycles, Building Your Legacy. This is a great show for me. We had some technical difficulties, but we're adapting. We're getting things going. And I just want to make sure that everything's live on Facebook, live on YouTube, and I want to make sure everything is public so Dianne and all the folks can share this actually show, this podcast, because it's very, very important that we get the message out about our book. All right. So Dianne, how you doing today? Minus all confusion, you know.
I'm good, Charlie. How are you? Talk about resiliency, right?
Oh, it's you know what? That's how we are. That's how our people are, and that's what we do. I'm actually, you know, feel free if you want to go to my Facebook page and share the podcast so your friends can get involved in this, in this interaction and leave comments so we can kind of, you know, interact with everybody. We don't want to miss out anybody. So.
Absolutely.
So it's public. All right. Let me see. I'm going to do something right here. While you're doing that, I have to read something in this book that kind of caught my eye, and it's on the very, very, very beginning of the book.
Okay.
And it's from George Zalucky.
Yes.
All right. All right. George gives us this great, you know, narrative, and I like it. It says, Dianne's story is an epic journey from the deep darkness of drug addiction and all the horrors that accompany the curse of addiction. Her story offers true hope and belief to anyone currently living with the evil powers of drug addiction. Her healing started the day she recognized she was powerless by herself. She needed help. She surrendered. At the moment she gave up her resistance, the healing power of God was now there to guide her way back to a life of inner peace, forgiveness, and self-love. The greatest teacher of all time, Jesus Christ, became her co-pilot to victory. Belief based upon one's personal faith and personal logical validation or needing proof. Absorbing the way one lives their life is the only validation needed. I believe that God never leaves us. We, however, can and do leave God. Observe our world today. That's all the proof we need. Without God, Dianne's life was a living hell. With God, Dianne is lighting up the world with her love for all and her unrelenting service to others. From where she was to where she is today is a miracle. A miracle. Amen. I strongly recommend this book to anyone who is addicted to drugs or knows someone who is. I urge you to pass it on. George Zalucky. Amazing. You know, give that guy 5 stars because that is just a perfect introduction to a book that I already know is going to be amazing. What inspired you to do this?
Wow. What inspired me? First of all, thanks for giving kudos to George Zalucky because he is an amazing man. And, you know, with all of us, we go to those that we know and we trust. And he has been a mentor to me for many years and my family and my grandson. So he's an amazing man. And so, Charlie, for you to have that insight in you and discernment to read that, number one, and to say it's a 5-star, which is so really true. Um,
So
so
true.
yeah, what inspired me to do the book? It said it right in there. It said God. God inspired me to write the book. I was inspired a few years ago. I wrote it a few years ago. It wasn't time. It's like birthing something. Then I turned 70 years young, and I said, "Oh my goodness! If not now, when? And if not me, who?" Because I had once I got clean and sober, finally, I made a vow every day to, be about our Father's business. And so I went to writing, and then it finally came to fruition. All the pieces came together, and it was birth, and I'm blessed about it. Blessed about it, Charlie.
You should be. You should be. The your book is on Amazon,
Yes,
and
sir.
so thank you for the book.
Yes,
Thank you, and I will reach out to Sonia because as you are an author doing your thing and making your story come to life through this book and all the things you talked about, dedicating it to you, your kids, your grandkids, so that your legacy is there and you set a stage in what you have. I'm looking from afar. And when you kind of look at it is when you started reaching out and trying to help yourself and you're going through everything and you're actually starting to take steps to make things better for you as a person. So as you do that, now you see everything kind of elevating, once you did it. It's my personal opinion, right? So now all of a sudden I'm like, all right, Diane's gone. Where is she? I don't know where you was. I didn't see you. Where did she go? And then all of a sudden, next time I see you, it's the smile's different, the walk's different, everything's different about you. And I think personally that you felt in love with yourself in the first time in a long time.
yes,
And it showed. It showed from the way you walked, the way you walked with others, the way you embraced a man that was at your side. It was all there. And the sunshine was really, really bright. And I want to just say that to you because I did see that, and we did something very wonderful at the school one year, and that was amazing. So you were doing some great, great things, and I'm glad that George wrote that because that was just that was perfect.
yes, yes. It
All right.
encapsulated everything. It encapsulated everything all together after he read it, because he's in his early 80s, I believe. I'll say early, George, if you're listening to this, right? And he needed to be able to read the book so that he could take it and really give a synopsis of what it was. And like you say, he's a master. He's a motivational speaker. He's just an amazing, gifted man. Like us, we're doing what we do. Everybody has their gift. And
Yes.
so, yeah, so I was sitting here, contemplated, okay, who can I ask to do the forward, meaningfully, intentionally, Charlie, like you said, I was gone, I was there, and then I was gone, right? And then all of a sudden you see me again, and that's how time flies, right? Would you agree?
Diane, I want you to tell just any story, right?
Mm.
I'm gonna go off camera for a second. I want everybody to focus on you and
Oh,
why they should do. Just talk about your book for a few seconds, okay? I'm gonna try to
okay.
get this audio real nice for everyone. So guys,
Okay, I'll do as you say. Well, hello, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here. As he said, I wrote the book, Breaking Cycles and Building Your Legacy. I wrote it for basically 3 reasons. One, to give hope to others. I remember how when I was caught up in the, world of addiction. I tried to get clean so many times. I tried. And if you're out there and you're trying so many times, continue to try. And then one day I realized I needed some more help, and I asked for a halfway house. And that's where I got a little bit more clarity. I had some time, and we need time to be able to know ourselves and to acquire the tools to get clean and sober. And that's really when it all started, when I allowed people to help me until I could help myself, because my answers just weren't working. And I also want to say that I don't believe anybody, as you're growing up, says, what do you want to be when you grow up? Or what is your passion? That I want to be an addict. None of us do. It happens to be that some of us are addicts. And I believe that it is a disease. And when I look at it now, 32 years cleaning sober, I couldn't get 32 seconds, okay? But day by day, hour by hour, step by step, I found myself getting busy and not worried about what was in the past, but working for now and in the future. And when I realized that it was a disease and I kept feeding the disease, and if I stopped feeding the disease, then I would have to take responsibility. So taking responsibility, hey, we all have to. We're all here for a reason. And the one that we're truly responsible for is ourselves. So take responsibility for yourself. Know that you are worthy. Know that you are here for a purpose. Know that life is really like a merry-go-round. And, a seesaw, you go up and you go down and things happen. But at the beginning of the day and at the end of the day, when you do the best you can with everything, day at a time, hour at a time, sometimes a minute at a time, we do recover. So I wrote it to give hope to others, because they talk about the statistics and they're not good, and they're not, but they can be very good when we look at it out of another lens. Not I'm an addict. Hey, it happens. But I have a disease, and if I arrest the disease, now I got to do some work. Do the work. You got to do the work. You're going to do the work anyway. And so hope was one, and then I gave the formula in which I did it, because I like to keep things simple. We need things simple at the beginning. So it's 4C formula. And the C's are the first letter of the alphabet, the cycle, finding out which cycle it is. And I'll talk about addiction, but there's plenty of other cycles that don't serve us that get to be broken. So you pick, because every generation should be better than the last. So what are we doing to live off of the shoulders of others and our family legacy in creating it? So you pick the cycle. And then what are the challenges? That's the second C. There are triggers that get us to going. People, places, and things. What are the triggers? If you know and you're aware, now you can deal with them. Oh, that's what those are. Okay, I got you. And then choice. Are you in or are you out? Listen, life is not a dress rehearsal. We have one shot at this thing called life. And it is our duty, honor, responsibility, and privilege, because we are here and we're gifted. And who are we not to give our gifts to this world? First to ourselves, then to the family, and then to the communities. And then a call to action. Yes, we're going to write down some times that we're going to do this by when. We're going to do this by when. And when you take small steps and start doing things in accomplishment, you will look up and trust and believe me. You will have done some amazing things, and one thing leads to another. So the 4 C's, and then, as Charlie was saying, leave a legacy to my children and to others. It's amazing. Somebody said to me, oh my goodness, your family's going to know who you are. And then I put in my book, my mom, my dad, my grandparents' names. Then I don't even know who I am. They're going to know who they are and who they are. Oh my goodness, this is so amazing. So that is why. And now Charlie's back.
I love it. The greatest thing about, like, I always talk. I tell my family that, hey, I need to leave something behind. So I write all my books. I try to do whatever I can, and only for the reason that not everybody in my family reads my poetry. Not everybody in my family buys a book, and that goes for my friends too.
Mm-hmm.
So, eventually, in the future, I like to, if someone is looking up, Charlie or the Really Charlie podcast, and they're trying to, um, see how I am and see what I was about.
Oh,
At least my books are there, to
that's right.
read and check it out, And I've
Mhm.
done everything from good, bad, and lovely poetry. Um,
Mm.
Test of some erotic stuff that my grandmother wouldn't be happy about, but I had to write it. Someone told me to,
Uh-huh.
and I gave it a shot. And but I want to say hi to Joey and Michael. Thanks
Yeah,
for
hi
joining.
Joey. I see. Yeah. Hi Thea. Hi Michael. Good
Yeah,
stuff.
thanks for joining us. So as I read this book, right,
Mm-hmm.
and what the podcast does is introduce me to so many authors, and
Mm.
you and I have been knowing each other for a lifetime. So it's and but as I learn something new
Mm-hmm.
about my friends, and I know I'm going to learn something new in this book,
Yes, sir.
because you captivate me just by your speaking.
Mm.
You're talking to people, you're doing things, and I'm glued into you. I'm just concentrating and just paying attention to everything that you tell me.
Mm.
And I know you do that for others. There's so I'm trying to conquer all the books that I have,
Yes.
and it's a little overwhelming because every story is magnificent. All the guests that come on,
Mm.
um, you know what? As I get to yours, I'm gonna be in shock and awe only
Yeah.
because you are inspirational and you keep this up.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's amazing. Uh, I want to do this again, and I want to do this again for a lot of reasons. For one, to have a one-on-one, face-to-face interview where
Nice.
you and I just kind of go at it and talk, have a conversation,
Mm-hmm.
um, and that's what I want to get out there.
Okay.
So we're gonna have to do this again very very soon. Not later. I like to do this very very soon.
Okay.
Um, I will travel to you. I will bring everything I possibly have and travel to you, and then make the podcast live. Um, so we need to do that, and whether it's sitting in your living room, whether it's sitting,
Oh.
I don't know if we'll be on a portrait now because we are meeting Jack Frost very soon. So
Right.
the the as you write this book, right?
Mm-hmm.
What is everyone saying? What are they saying? Are they more in shock that you wrote it, or are they telling you um, about time, about time, lady?
I think it's a little bit of both, Charlie. Number one, yes, we will do a podcast. I will come out to you. You can come out to me. I love your office there. I am so proud of you, Charlie. I don't want to distract, but when I think of you and I see the poems that touch in my heart, I'm like, oh, look at the gifts that we have. And plus your service. So, Charlie, like you say, we know each other, but we're going to get to know each other.
Yeah,
How's that?
yeah,
Okay.
hmm
Okay.
yeah.
So, yeah, I believe, like Oprah says, we all have a book inside of us,
Mhm.
and if we choose to tell the story, um, I choose to tell my story. I told some story. I went through the introduction of how I started, and how I was thought I was on my way to be an Angela Bassett or something when I was 15 or 16 years old, and all that good stuff, and how one decision just turned the trajectory of my life, and how not having personal mentors or personal development inside of you, or tools, if you will, about life, and so you just make decisions with emotions. and not with enough information. That's why it's so important. And I talk about how I picked up a drink, fell in the world of addiction. And I talk about how I lost a decade of my life.
Mm.
Yeah, a decade. Not only did I lose everything, my job, my house, my marriage, goodness, everything. I lost myself, Charlie. You said it
Yeah.
right. You said it right. I fell in love with myself again. I fell in love with myself again. And then I talk about the journey on the way back, and how nothing could stop me but me. Once you know that you know that you know, Charlie,
Mm-hmm.
nothing can stop you but yourself. Um, and so I talk about the journey about coming back and some of the challenges there. And then um, I talk about how there were times that, you needed some gas in your tank, if you will. And the grandkids were going to school and writing who's significant in your life. And they would come and give me a letter, and I would be that significant person. And that would give me enough fuel. We don't need a whole lot. We just need a little bit. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And I ended up putting those letters in there to inspire individuals and say to individuals, have some people write some letters to you. I think that's such a good thing. We don't know what's inside of people, Charlie. We don't.
Yeah.
And I asked the grandkids, because I was writing to a few more because I didn't want to leave them out, and they wrote, and oh my God, some of the letters are amazing. So I know we only have like about 5 minutes left, right? So I just want to read a little bit of the introduction, okay?
Sure.
And it says, do the best you can until you know better. And then when you know better, do better. Maya Angelou.
Mm.
I walked into a party in 1979 and did not come out to 1989, or so it seemed. This was a period of my life that not only defined who I became as a woman, but also set the stage on how my life would inevitably unfold. This decade was threaded with a broken family, drug abuse, divorce, incarceration, and a loss of everything, including my children, my job, my home, and most devastatingly, myself. I had no self-worth and knew very little about self-care. I blamed everybody. I took little responsibility and spent a great deal of time creating cycles that did not serve me. And then I go in and I talk about how I had a moment of sanity. And in that moment of sanity, I made a decision. And I made a decision to surrender to a power greater than myself, who I choose to call God. And it goes on from there. So I'm saying to any of the listeners or viewers, if you felt like that, or if you know somebody that has felt like that, what worked for somebody else, like if I can do it, so can they, was reaching out for help and then getting into some long-term treatment program. And I don't say long to be long. I mean, I did 10 years and I did 6 months in a halfway house, or 9 months, but enough time to have some clarity to do something different. My wonderful friend Jackie from New Bedford, bless her soul, used to always say, if nothing changes, nothing changes. And so I say there is hope. You got to reach out. You got to take responsibility and know that you are worthy. So that's what I say to them, Charlie.
You hit it. You hit it on the nail. I mean, I could definitely write a few things just on that letter, just on that. And it's 1979 to 1989.
89.
And just relate with those numbers, and they could just kind of, so I'm gonna have to listen to this again so I can get this inspiration and start writing. But actually, I won't even do that. I want to get something from the book. So
yes.
As I write things while I'm reading your book, I'm gonna tag your name.
Please
tag
do.
your name so you know that it's coming from you and your
Yeah.
inspiration in that book.
Oh, please do. And I want to close out with one of the letters from one of my granddaughters. She said, "My name is Diarra Monet, and I'm blessed to be the granddaughter of Dianne Langford James. I have so
Mm,
many wonderful, meaningful memories and many teachable moments growing up with my grandmother. It's nearly impossible to choose one because they all impacted me and shaped me into the young woman I am today. What comes to mind when I think of my grandma is instant, unconditional love and words of wisdom. Throughout my life, my grandmother would use her past experiences and knowledge as an effort to break cycles for my generation and the ones to come. I will forever cherish the rides with my grandma, the car rides that led to deep talks. My grandmother would always begin the discussion with, "In life." And I just knew I was going to receive some enlightenment that would last me a lifetime. So that brings me to say this: in life, I believe there are special people that God has chosen for you. I believe they are sent to bring the best out of you in your life. And without a doubt, I know my grandma was chosen person to bring the best out of me in my life. I hope after reading this book, you have chosen her life's journey to inspire your life and bring out the best in you. Mm.
mm, mm, mm. That's, see that letter is beautiful, and she actually she's probably got a book right inside of her that she don't even realize it, you
Without
know?
a doubt. Without a
Yeah.
doubt. We all do. We all do. They do. You do. You do. Everybody does. Yeah. You
Mhm.
know, Charlie, I just really want to say again before we close out, we have a couple minutes. Thank you. Thank you for being who you are. Thank you for all the things you're doing. You're amazing. And we're just going to have to go on an author talk together. How about that?
Mhm. Yeah, I would love that.
Mm.
Um, hmm. Joey Gonzalez says, just listening, she's bringing me back to the middle late '60s in Westlawn, and
Yes.
those stories.
Yes.
That's a book in itself, right? Could you
Yes.
imagine if you all just got together and just
Oh,
kept one story after another? And I keep telling my
yes.
friends and family that we need
Mm.
to get together and let's produce some videos
Yes.
of especially with me, it's the Bay Village. The
Oh,
Bay Village. I try to tell people,
yes.
tell your story, share
Yes.
your story. We have
Yes.
we have a
Yes.
page on Facebook, and I said,
Yes.
look, come on a day.
We can inspire the youth. We can talk about it for ourselves, do the healing we need to do to be the best versions of ourselves. Thank you, Joey. Thank you. Thank you. Because that's why you're the person you are today. So thank you for that. And yes, that's what we get to do. We've got many things to come up, and that's for sure. Charlie.
Well, I am definitely, when you're doing things, a show or reading
Hmm.
anything for your book, just please let me know because I don't have a problem traveling, especially if it's after work and I have to get to you.
Okay.
Just let me know, even if we pre-record it
Yeah.
while you're doing things, and
Hmm.
we could do a multitude of things. This is your podcast now,
Yes, we
so
can.
anytime you need it,
Yeah.
we're gonna in your station. WNB One Radio is
Yes.
ready to put you on, ready to do things for you,
Yes.
to get it out there. So.
And New
Um,
Bedford is a beautiful place with beautiful people, and we get to lift it all up, link arms with each other, like you say, and Charlie, tell our stories and turn that place around for the better. So I
yeah.
am 100% in. Okay.
All right. Well, everyone, this is Dianne Langford James.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Breaking cycles, building your legacy. Breaking
That's right.
cycles,
I'll show it.
building. Yes, I actually, I had a nice picture that I was going to show, but
That's
where,
okay.
where
We'll-
Justin, you did it. That's Plan B, what you just
yes,
did.
we got
So
this done. So that was amazing. Okay.
I love you dearly, and
Oh,
you
I
know,
love you.
I'll definitely whatever you need, you got it, and just keep posting every single thing that you're doing, so I can share it,
Absolutely.
and we should do that for friends, as friends, to share
Yes.
everything that you're doing.
Yes, Charlie. Thank you. Thank you for being you, sir. Okay. And
All right, my dear.
okay.
I'm going to call you sometime tomorrow if you don't mind.
Please do. We'll set that place, and I'll come there at the station. You can come here. We'll do whatever it is we feel like doing. How about that part? Okay.
Fair enough.
See you later, everybody. Thank you for showing.
Thank you. Awesome. All right, everyone. I am going to end with my favorite song by Peter Lionel Walker. That was Dianne Langford James. And here we go.
It's the Really Charlie Podcast. Yeah, it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Yo, it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Bump into your broadcast, grab a chair, fill your glass. Yeah, it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Yo, it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Yeah, it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Bump into your broadcast, grab a chair, fill your glass.